Hello, everybody. Welcome to the monthly challenge of the conscious community. I have something to say, like, because this is the first time ever. What happened is we have two winners, and as you know, we don't decide this, guys. This is something that you decide. So we just choose the winners from how many votes of how many likes they got. So, wow, they had the same amount of votes. So, fair is fair. So we have like two persons who are the winners. And before I'm gonna start, I want to introduce you to one of the EMC colleagues of EMC coaches, and we're very happy to have her with us. And this is Diana. I'm gonna ask her just to come in and join it. Well, and here we have Diana. Hello, Diana.
Hello, hello. It's nice to see you.
It is nice to see you as well. Good that to see you because it has been a while. We saw each other, right? Normally
Well,
we see each other
actually,
like weekly, but
yeah,
yes, but it's so hectic. It's so busy. Also in the flower shop
it is.
for the
Yeah, yeah.
December, right? So, but
Yes,
okay,
it is busy season for all the florists, for
it
sure.
is. It is. I have to admit, it is a very busy season. But okay, what do you think? I'm gonna show you first the two winners because actually I'm a little bit. Here they are. Well, the first one on
Yes.
your left, I don't know left or right, but with the dark hair, this is Tricia one, EMC AFD, and on the right side from the UK, because Tricia is from the United States, and from the on the right side or on the left side for you is Barbara Asbury, EMC from the UK. So this is really cool to have like those two winners, and of course we are very we were a little bit curious to see what they made. So let us quick show you what Tricia made. That's what Tricia made for us. And we all know the challenge. The challenge for November was come up with an idea or create a asymmetric design that has transparency. Very we have to see the transparency, and we will have to use 80% of chrysanthemums. So this is a challenge, and I'm going to say the challenges now will go differently because we have already have some cool plans to work on the challenges starting from January. So this is Tricia, and let's go for the design of Barbara. And Barbara made this one, so totally different. But yes, it really You see the chrysanthemums. You see it is so asymmetrical, and of course you see lots of transparency. So, I have to say, um, Diana, I'm very looking forward to discuss this together with you, just to analyze those designs. I'm going to put myself a little bit over here, right? So we're going to analyze them according to the elements and principles of design. We're going to analyze them color wise. So what do you think? Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. This is exciting.
It
It's nice.
is.
It's really nice to have two people be the winners and see two designs that, although they do play with the same concept form, are so different as an approach. And it's actually a cool thing to see that people like them in equal sort of shares of they had the same amount of likes and both of them are winners, and I think that's really great. It's really great. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So I'm ready, definitely.
okay, cool. Well, I totally agree, and that's why we do the conscious challenges every month to let the people see you don't have to copy. You know what? If you
Yeah.
if you know how to communicate through your designs, and we just call it elements and principles of design, we just call it the color theory, we just call it and so on and so on. If you know how to do it, it's like writing a song. We all know the notes, but it's up to you to combine the notes and come up with your what is transparency for you. And maybe we don't approach things like this. What we see design, we love it. I don't say we are not copying it, but we are very, very inspired, and we are tend to make it like a kind of a similar. But if you ask with some people, and that's about the challenge, what is transparency for you? Well, transparency is so different from me than for you and for Barbara and Tricia. What is, well, asymmetric? What does it mean? Well, some people are working very asymmetrical, so like 100%. Some of them are working like shape-wise, form-wise, very symmetrical, but they use colors to make it asymmetrical. So it's really too cool, and it's really nice to see how people are playing. I have to say, there was a little chance that Tricia would join us, but she's actually at the moment, and it's December, like we said, it's so busy, so
Yes.
she can't leave the shop. And okay, well, Tricia, you're here in heart and mind, totally. Also for Barbara, well, she really wanted to join, and well, and said, can you just record it? Yes, indeed, Barbara, Tricia, it is record. Also, for all the viewers, go to our ENC YouTube channel. You will see all the analysis from the past, including this one. So nothing is done for nothing, right? So if you're ready for the first one, Diane, just give me a
Yes,
call. And
absolutely.
yes,
I just wanted to say, because this is actually the first time that we have the winners of the challenge not being able to attend the live session, that maybe, I don't know, we it would be cool to launch an invitation to them to do a short video in which they describe a little bit what they learned out of the challenge and send it to us, so we can post it on the group and everybody sees, kind of, because usually they give the input during the live
yeah,
session. So it would be really great to have their input on how they approached the challenges as well. And so I think, I mean, if they're willing to do it, but knowing both of them, I think they would be.
yes,
It's both of them are great designers, and there's a lot to learn from each other. So I
yeah.
think it would be great if we could have a little bit of their input as well. I'm just dropping an idea here and
I
there.
love
So
the
yeah,
idea. So Barbara, Tricia, I hope you're listening. Well, or you're gonna see this. Please, I love the idea from Diana, and we would love to hear why you did it. Why? Because the why is so important for us, and of course the
yeah.
how you did it is also important. But okay, how did you come up with that idea? So yes, Diana, totally agree. I love the idea. Right. Okay. Well, let's start with the first one. Let's start with Tricia. Is that okay for you?
With Trisha, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. I'm gonna put it a little
Yeah,
bit in the middle.
perfect.
Right. I'm gonna put that one
Yeah.
away. Okay. Right. That's the one. I'm gonna put it over here. Right. So, well, the challenge, we had 3 points. So the first one, it has to be asymmetrical. So asymmetrical, well, what can we say? It's like, yeah, it's, well, even a
It's
blind person
no
will see
doubt
it's
about it.
asymmetrical.
Yeah,
It's so
it's
yes,
no doubt
it's
about it. Yeah.
asymmetrical in form wise, shape wise, and actually they made it so clear, because if you see the circle and you just put the circle and you put a mirror in the middle of the stand over there, and then on the left side is, there is almost no botanicals, right? And
Yeah,
on the right
yeah.
side, it's all about botanicals. It's like, well, really like, okay, well, like you said, it's so clear. And then the second part was, okay, you have to work with chrysanthemums. Okay, this is, well, fulfilled. The visual impact, is well, has kind of 80%. Well, kind of, not really, because if we are really strict, we should say, well, we need a little bit more chrysanthemums, because the visual impact of the amaranthus color wise is very strong. Also from the grasses are
Yes.
really strong. So if we say 80%, it's not about 80% of the stems. And this is something what we want to put in the picture is, it's all about visual impact. And visual impact, this is what people see. And visual impact you create this by not only by form or design, or but also from color, and not always from quantity of stems. And that's something that we want to give something to the people, right? So this is something that would say, well, Tricia, keep an eye on that one, so that we don't have the
I
80%.
agree. Yeah, I agree with that, but I would say that it's very cleverly played with the chrysanthemums in the still in the place where the mirror, the mirror line would be drawn. So it's kind of, even though there is a strong visual impact of the amaranthus and the tifa there, the eyes get drawn to the chrysanthemum. And also color wise, she did go for the more reddish chrysanthemum, so it's a little bit, it's always, you kind of tend to go back to them. So in a sense, okay, it's not literally in, ad literam 80%, but in a sense, I appreciate the way she played with the chrysanthemums in the focal area there. And I would have to say that I particularly appreciate the way she very subtly moved. It's only a little bit of chrysanthemum on the left side where there's nothing. So it's kind of very cleverly played, like on the left side where there's no real focus on any botanicals, it's a little bit of chrysanthemum. So it's kind of, the visual impact is more subtle in from this perspective, but I think she did a great job in
Oh, definitely.
accomplishing that part as well. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yes.
So
I agree. And also the fact that she played with different chrysanthemums is also cool,
yes,
right?
yes,
This is
yes,
something, and
yeah,
yeah. Um, let's analyze a little bit color wise. So I gonna here. So as you can see, well, color wise, I'm gonna put it a little bit like this. I'm gonna put this one's a little bit like this, so we can see, right? Well, I have to put it like this. Um, yes, she's like working on. Well, you can ask yourself, how does it work color wise? So you can find the area where she is like the pinks, and then she gives a little bit an accent, which is smart, because
yeah,
like the purple gives a little bit like it flavors it a little bit, so it makes it
yeah,
more like interesting. And then you can find yourself, okay, and then what about the brown, almost black, right? And then the green, well, like as you can see, the yellow kind of fluo green of the amaranthus is almost, well, it's almost complementary. So, and that's why it is actually, it works. Also the construction she made, the dream catcher, or well, kind of,
yeah,
it's really like, why does this fit to each other? Well, it's a pure complementary color use. The only thing is, like with hangmaranthus, the only thing what I would say is, if you use hangmaranthus, and you work with lines, because now you have in here static lines and dynamic lines.
and
The
dynamic lines,
dynamic
yeah,
line of the amaranthus, be careful that it's kind of dynamic, and it's not kind of broken static dynamic line. And that's the thing what I would give an advice to people. Please, if you work with lines, really focus yourself on the lines, because the lines are really, really, really strong, and they really make a kind of a, well, they make a point in your arrangements, right? What do you think?
yes, yeah. No, I completely agree on this one. Um, Although looking at the design itself, I think the focus on Trisha for the Amaranthus was more for the splash of color rather than the line in itself. And that's by seeing the second Amaranthus, which is lower, placed lower, and it's more a mass. It doesn't actually have a line. Had she used that one higher actually with the real, dynamic line hanging, then it would have been a completely different effect. But I think she was more focused on the color here, and actually the amaranthus and the tifa, the color is what's making this very three-dimensional color-wise, because it's going from the amaranthus, which is almost very close to the center of the circle, to the tifa, which is the exterior of the circle. So it's yeah, it's nicely used, but I agree with you. If you focus on the line of the amaranthus, then um, that's the second one, which is smaller, not having the stem at all. It kind of leads to thinking that it was more a splash of color rather than a line in itself. So, um, yeah, I agree with that one
Well,
there. But
some
indeed, the play having the grasses in there, though, it does give that nice duality of static line and dynamic line. So that was nicely done by her.
yeah. No, the fact is like it's a good play with dynamic and static lines. The dynamic lines of the is it Pinacetum? What you said
I
Tifa? Is it well
I think
whatever?
it's the leaf of a tifa there. Actually,
But
I'm
okay,
not
well,
sure,
let's
but
say
I
grasses.
yeah.
In this case is, and sometimes I see that with the students, they focus only on one element of a botanical, but we forget a botanical has like several elements. It has the elements of density, of the form, of the shape, of the color, of the stem, of the line, and so on. So in this case, and I agree, it's a perfect match about colors. It's really good a color match, totally. But the it has not only color, it also has the line. So be careful on that one. But totally agree. The static line together with the dynamic line is really good. For the people of EMC, well, we were talking about growing points and we were talking about line arrangements. Well, in here we have different line arrangements, but a really good one and that's strong and that element is like the radial line of the two grasses. This is really strong, and for my opinion, the little one on the bottom, and I agree with you, Diana. I wouldn't put the little one on the bottom because what happens now, well, the focal area was actually in the growing point of the two grasses, and then putting a yellowish floral green on the bottom, it really like moves your eye to the bottom, which is well, sometimes it's better to create a focal area. um, so
Yeah,
I would keep that in mind. It's a play. It's a concept. So, but all after all, yes, it's a very interesting play to look at. Hmm. Um,
absolutely. Yes.
Yes, and then the silhouette. If we say, is there transparency? Well, we all know it's like transparency happens within the silhouette. We also can say it's an open character, meaning there's a lot of negative space, as you can see, and within the negative space and within the silhouette, there's a lot of transparency. So, with well, let's count the flowers: two, four, five, six, maybe seven, eight, and then 10. With 10 stems, you create actually a kind of impact, don't you? Right? And
Absolutely.
that's the impact is
Absolutely.
created by using a lot of like transparency, but also using a lot of openness, open character. So that's a smart move, right? Okay.
Definitely. I know it's a little bit we're in the position because so far all of the winners of the challenge were people that we've had as students and we know them. So I'm in a way that helps us to do the analysis on the lives. But I have to say, I am very proud of seeing Trisha work this open and this big with little material, because I know it's not what she normally did or does necessarily, but I really think this kind of work matches her personality, her her personal personality so much, because she is such an open person and such a vibrant spirit in a way that I I'm very in a good way surprised to see designs like this made by her, and I think it really fits. It really fits with what with how she is as a person. So yeah, I'm glad that this challenge, she took it very personal. I don't think this is necessarily work that she did for a client, but I think she did it just for the challenging, just to challenge herself, and she did a great job on
Yeah.
that one. So
Here, here,
yeah,
here, here.
yeah.
Totally agree. Okay, good one. What do you think? Are we okay with this one? Can we move on to the next?
Yes,
Or yeah?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Great
Well,
job, Trisha. Really great
yes.
job. We You have to do the clapping sound.
Oh, I
They're
have
not
to go.
here,
Of
but do the
course.
clapping. Yes.
Here we go. Wait, 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 wait. Here we go. Sound like. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
And once again, because a little bit love it. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Okay, right. Perfect. So let's go for the next one from Barbara. Design Barbara. Okay, here we are. I'm gonna put that over here so then we can see it. I don't want to cover you too much. Well,
Oh,
both of
it's
us,
not a
but
problem.
okay. Now
I'm
people,
not the focus here, the design is, so that's
but it's okay. It's nice to see it. Well, to see each other as well, right? Okay, good. Well, something, well, totally different. But you know what? You can say totally different. No, because it's a circle. Yes, right. It is a circle, but the approach is so different. So in here, so okay, let's start. Let's start with the 3 points. Again, let's start. Is it asymmetric? Well, yes, definitely. It's so asymmetrical. Then the next is like, well, what about the chrysanthemums? Well, definitely. Here we have
definitely, yeah.
already 80+% chrysanthemums, and then, well, do we see some well, transparency? Yes, for the people who are not familiar with the EMC curriculum, or with the pronunciation, or well, what we say, the curriculum of EMC, like we say, transparency once again is like you have the silhouette. That means the shape and the form of the design. If you go within that form, then we talk about silhouette, and then we talk about the, well, the transparency. If we talk about the silhouette on its own and what happens with the silhouette, and there's a lot of space, then we call it open. If it is the silhouette very closed, like you can see the difference. If you see the circle, the color wheel, this is very closed. That means it's so closed you can define really easily the silhouette. The example from Barbara, it's difficult to define the silhouette because you have to go really like in lines. That means there are a lot of negative space. So that means we just call it open. And then the next is like, if we go into the silhouette, we see a lot of transparency in the one from Barbara. In the color wheel, there is no transparency. There's only one little white hole in the middle, but there's like, it's not a lot. So that's maybe a little bit to explain to people that are not EMC familiar. So this is how we teach in our courses. So okay, let's start. So once again, good job. You passed because the three elements were definitely done in a good way. Um, what's interesting here? So Diana, what's your idea?
A lot of things are interesting here, and
Yeah,
I don't mean to make a comparison in any way between, but I absolutely love the fact that both of them use the circle as a base, and we have sort of the same material, three identical principles that they worked with, and the same botanicals more or less,
mm-hmm.
and then such completely different designs. It's very interesting that everything is sort of happening on one side, and yet there's a little bit on the other side. So the way she approached the asymmetrical aspect of the design is really, really cool. And the fact that the design is so open, and it's not just going out of the circle, but it's actually working on the circle as a base, while Trisha had built a net to support her botanicals. So it's really really an interesting way to approach design. So, but for me, yeah, this one is actually really really cool. I have to say, I've always appreciated in Barbara the um, what's the word in English when you're being very very um, particular about details in your work, and you can tell that even in just this shot from a distance, that there is a very very careful choice of where each botanical is placed in the design, and I think that's what lifts the design up a lot. So really great job on this one. Yeah.
Well, I totally agree, and we can go further on that one. But just to what I agree with you is like look at that big chrysanthemum within the circle. Well, actually, this is a growing point, and
Yeah,
we should ask. And it's such a pity Barbara is not here because I'm sure she would explain why she put it. But actually, everything starts from that chrysanthemum, and a growing point, that means this is the point where everything starts from, where it is growing from. And in EMC we are learning from the different growing points. We say zero growing points and multiple growing points and one growing point. That means from a growing point it can be visible or not visible, but here she really played with that kind of, well, she played and stretched the boundaries. So this is so cool. And that makes also line wise, because line wise you see it's, I think it's hedera, and the green I'm not sure, let's blow it up and
yeah,
see. Yes, it is hedera.
it's
um,
Hedoraya.
yeah. What you see is like even the line arrangement, she's using, well, radial lines. And with a little one over here, like in here, I don't know, well, they look also a little bit radial on the bottom. So yes, it is done with a very precision and a very detailing and using the elements and principle design. And then we can go over, it's asymmetric. Yes, it is so decorative, right? And then it is,
Definitely.
yeah, and it is open with transparency. The floor line arrangement, well, we have a radial line. The proportion is, well, you know what? I have a tent that it goes like almost diagonally. So there is a gap in the middle. So that makes it like, okay, what happens here? Right, well, most whereas the mass is going, well, the mass is going actually a little bit like, so it's just very interesting and it's an intriguing arrangement. And then growing points, well, yes, of course we have several growing points, but still it's, well, maybe we have one growing point and we start to ask ourselves, hmm, is that actually that chrysanthemum, the biggest chrysanthemum, is that actually the growing point? Maybe it is. So it's very intriguing to ask ourselves what is possible. So it's a really cool play, and it's like played to the right element and principle of design.
Yeah.
So yes,
And I have to say, it's really cool that she also sort of exploited this amazing ability of the chrysanthemum to last without water a long time, because there are not many flowers that you can build this kind of design with. And um, she really showcases here not just the beauty of the chrysanthemum head as a flower and the multitude of types of chrysanthemums that you can find, but also its durability, which is one of the greatest assets of this flower, actually. So, um, yeah, I and what I also like a lot about this design is the fact that she, by giving up the stems of the chrysanthemums and only focusing on the flower heads, she managed to create a very flowy kind of display of flowers, which is not necessarily typical for chrysanthemums. Usually they're, because they have a very decorative character generally, right? So it has this, it's really great design. But I have to say, I'm very intrigued of how she made those hederas stay like that.
yeah.
That was one of the things that I thought of. And I think it would be really interesting to find out from Barbara how she made those hederas stay so stiff and so
Well,
clearly straight,
well,
because
you see it
they're
actually.
very,
Yes, it's she just wind around the wire, right? You can see here. Do you see? So in this one you can, no, I, what, just a minute. I try to, as you can see over here. So
Yeah.
she wired the Hidera around the wire. And
Oh, okay, okay.
so in here, but this is smart because this is also something what I want to add. We have different mechanics. We have decorative mechanics, we have functional mechanics, we have support mechanics. So in here, she actually used and that's very smart actually. She put it on a gray background on and being gray on the background that makes the support functional and decorative mechanics not visible. So that means
Yeah, definitely.
it's so like ethereal. Is that a good word? And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's a
it's
very
like
good word.
yes, that's it's like, and that's why, and that's smart to play with that kind of wire because I think it's like, well, it's just like the wire on a spool that she just used the silver wire. So it all comes beautiful together, and this is always what we say: if you make a design, there are so many elements you have to think about your botanicals, your mechanics, your techniques, and well, the piercing technique, as you say, she used the right flower for this because it can easily stay for a couple of days because it's a chrysanthemum. And if we know if we're going to spray the little flowers a little bit with some water, they will stay even longer. So yes, that's it's a really cool thing to do so. Um, so this was actually design wise. What about the colors? Oh, I just lost you, Diana. So I have to go.
Oh,
Um,
sorry.
are you still there, Diana? Okay, here. Well, we lost you for a second. So what about the colors? What is your take on that? Oh, I you're muted. So can you unmute yourself? So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the colors. Try to unmute yourself, Diana. So in here, well, what you see color-wise, you see it's a little bit the same color. Guest has muted themselves, so you have muted yourself, Diana. It shows in the um, guest has muted themselves. So that's uh, you muted the guest. Okay, so Diana will call in again. So in the meantime, it's like okay, color wise, it's a little bit the same what we did. So there is Diana again. So let's see. So then you can see it's all live, isn't it? So we're gonna add you. Right. Okay. You're still muted.
I hope you can hear me
Yes.
now.
Now I can hear. We can hear you.
I did
Okay.
not mute. Okay, good.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
So I will continue about colors. Well, in
Yeah,
here, it's a little bit in the same color area she works, but she added some extra colors on. She added the white, and that's
yeah,
oh, that's interesting, isn't it? So,
it is.
well, the white, it's like it's really like pops in the eye because she works much more. I don't say ton sur ton, but with well, the purples, the burgundies. It's very close to each other, and then she goes really close to the other side with the greens. So she works a little bit also complementary, but not like that lime green, but a little bit more, well, limeish, like soft green, yellow green. And then pop, you have the white, and the white has that little heart that is like yellowish greenish. So it makes sense. And well, I think why she used the white once again is very, it's a pity that she doesn't, she's not here. But I think to make it to, it's even lighter of like feeling wise, she used the white. I don't know. What do you think, Diana?
I think it's a very smart use of a quantity contrast here as well because she plays in the darks a lot. With the green and the purples, everything is towards the outside of the color wheel, and then the whites are that splash of color. So it's a light dark contrast and quantity contrast as well in the same time. So um, the touch of green that she uses there is making it a three-dimensional color wise, and I really think this is uplifting her design. Had it been only in the greens and the purples and not adding those whites, would have probably I'm not saying it wouldn't have looked good, but it wouldn't, in a way, it wouldn't have made sense. And that's what conscious creativity is about, right? The arrangement, the whole concept of the design is to be very light and airy, and almost the chrysanthemums are almost, flying out of the circle. And then if you have only the dark colors and the dark tones of the flowers, it kind of doesn't make sense. But those little splashes of white are actually lifting up the arrangement and making it have sense in a way. So I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a very conscious choice on behalf of
Yeah.
Barbara. It's
Well, we,
not just because she had laying around a few chrysanthemums that she placed them there. That's for sure.
yeah.
It's very very clear why she did that. So
But we also it's
yeah,
like this is how you can give an arrangement some tension, and this is makes an arrangement more interesting. Like we said, like we're gonna add the salt, so we're gonna add the pepper and the salt, so it becomes more interesting. And yes, without the white, it would be a cool. Definitely, it was a cool
cool
arrangement. But I don't. It was more like although the colors are more active, it was more a passive because it was like all the colors were merging into each other. And then, well, we always make a mistake, and I have to be sure that I don't make that mistake. We should ask first, Barbara, why and for who, and what is the reason, and what is the message for that you made that arrangement. Maybe we are totally wrong, and that's why it's so always so cool to talk with the designer,
designers. Yeah.
ask what are why did you do it, and what are the goals, and what do you want to achieve with your design. But okay, now we are guessing, the two of us, and we're guessing, well, we're happy with the results,
But
so
I think in a sense it's like it's also cool to kind of guess and hear our opinion in a blind from a blind spot kind of,
yeah,
because maybe they we see things that they it's not that they didn't think about, but they didn't really consider as one of the W's of the arrangement. And it's sometimes nice to hear you achieved more than you desired.
yeah,
So that's that's also awesome. But I wanted to add to the color thing that I also believe it's a very smart choice to add the whites, because it transforming taking the arrangement into a three-dimensional use of color is very very clever in this arrangement, particularly because it's almost a b-dimensional arrangement, shape wise and form wise. It's almost like a flat. I know it does have a little bit of depth, but especially with the picture, it looks like it's like a flat work. It's almost like a painting, honestly. But the fact that you put in the whites there gives a little bit more depth to the color play. So it's really well done, really well done.
yeah, yeah. I i agree, like, yeah, like we just call it in like a trondoi, and this is like a
Yeah,
painted technique. Well, not a technique, it's not a technique, it's like the way how you paint. And indeed, what they do, they work with, well, they work with colors, deeper colors, lighter colors, but also they work with perspective, what they work with lines and so on. So it is, yes, and it's, we always are kind of analyzing and judging from our perspective, from being a florist and how we would make it. But you know, we should see it much more broader. And like, I totally agree with you, Diana. We should approach it from a painter perspective, or like kind of, or maybe a sculptor who what's the way how he sees it, and so on and so on. So it really boosts our creativity. So I totally agree on that one. So the color we can go, right? The design. Are we okay with the design? You want to say
yes,
something
and we
extra?
definitely do the clapping again. This
And do
time
the
we have
what?
to do the clapping, do the
Yeah,
clapping
yes, yes,
again for
yes,
Barbara as well. Yeah.
yes. Well, once again, we had two winners. And yes, well, once again, guys, thank you very much for giving the likes. We are working on the conscious creative community even more. So in 2022, we will have some surprises. We will grow, we will add some extra features to it. So, yes, keep on. And you know what? If you know somebody that is open to get more conscious in what they, well, what about designing, about florals, about what, well, or they want to grow, please invite them to the group. Ask them just to send us a message, or just tap them that they gonna, well, they want to be, because you have to answer actually two questions: is why do you want, because we will not allow people that just say, well, we just want to join just to join. No, no, we want to have people that are really conscious why to join, and that's why we are growing very slowly, but we are growing with the kind of, can I say, the right conscious people, and that's the whole
Yeah.
of this community, right? So for me, I don't know about you, Diana, but that's it. I'm very happy about it.
Yeah. I'm super happy about the designs actually. Yeah. I was impressed with them when I saw them posted. Of course, the other designs were also very good. We always have good designs in the challenge, and I'm glad to see that people are um, sort of, even though maybe they're not the most intriguing challenges ever, it you can make it intriguing within yourself if you really think, take it, and take it to the next level. And honestly, um, works like this, works like we had from Coral last week, from Anna, from Laura in the past, show that, you know, even the simplest flowers and the simplest techniques and the simplest principles can lead to great designs. So I'm very happy to see that happening on our Facebook group for sure.
it's it's all about the interaction, and a lot of people wants to come, and I know I'm going to repeat myself, but I'm going to do it again. It's not about to combine your botanicals, but let them interact. Like you said, now in the last one with Barbara, she interact color wise with the white and the purples and the different darker purples and so on. So there was like, she created a three-dimensional, actually it was two-dimensional, but she created a trompe because we think it was a 3D, and actually it was a 2D. So it's all about interaction. It is. The only thing what I want to mention as well, because we are so proud on this one, and I'm going to show you, we'll have a new app is coming on the way. So our own EMC app is coming, and I want to explain you a little bit. There was so much on that EMC app going on. You will be able to download, you will be able to see courses, you will be able, and so many things will happen. So keep an eye on EMC, because there's so much happening behind the scenes. Also, well, I'm gonna tell you, our next Edge fanzine is coming out, right,
It's coming
Diana?
on.
Because you are
Yes.
editor. Please give us a little bit. Give us a little bit. So not all, but give us a little bit details.
It's focusing on the trends because we did a lot of work with the trend report that EMC put out together with Fleur Creative and Toolbox a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right? I don't, it's the notion of time
It's
right now for
going
me
so
is a
much
little
on.
bit,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. I think it was in September that we launched the
Yes.
EMC
September.
trend report. So we're looking on doing a fanzine now with focusing on the trends for 2022. And it's not just any trends, it's not just picking up some ideas from other from interior design or just launching a color. It's about specifically addressing to florists about the four different trends that are going to be um, in 2022. So we're working on the fanzine. We're very last minute now, and by mid-September we will have it out. But we will make sure to announce it on this group. For sure, it's probably going to be the first place we post it for our community here in the Facebook group. So yeah, it's a lot in it. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of cool and interesting things, not just regarding trends, but regarding what's trendy, regarding different approaches to trends. We actually have a little bit of winter inspiration as well from four different EMC designers from four different parts of the world, each of them doing one specific trend. So it's gonna be it's gonna be a lot in the fanzine, in the next fanzine, and I hope people are gonna download it because it's a fanzine. It's gonna be downloadable for free on our website. So keep an eye on us for that one.
Great. Well, in the meantime, we'll go quickly through the trend book. As you can see,
Yeah.
you know what? The trend book is available, and well, some parts will be in the, like you said, in the Edge fanzine.
Yes, it's not going to be a reproduction of the trend report
No,
for sure, because the trend report is still a book in itself with the four trends and a lot more details on it. But it is going to be focusing on the notion of trends first of all, and we have a few surprises, including the main interview with the for the fanzine, which we're doing with somebody who really knows what trends are.
we are.
And then we do post the color palettes and some insight about the trends in the trend book. But um, I mean, some of the people that are on the group for sure have the already have the trend report, so it would be nice to hear some feedback about how it is and let other designers know as well, how the trend report
Well,
was, perceived from a florist perspective. But it's going to be more than that, so it's not as comprehensive regarding to the floral trends itself as the trend report, because not going to do two perfectly, identical publications and just call them different. But it's going to be a lot more, it's going to be a broader approach to the trends for florists. So yeah, I'm excited about it. It still needs work, but I'm very
of course.
excited to be able to take it
Well,
out.
we
Yeah,
already know how it will look like, so we are very
yeah, yeah,
excited.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But okay, well, what I want to say, keep an eye on EMC. So many things are happening behind the scenes, and well, stay tuned. So once again, well, Diana, we have to go. Thank you very much for being here,
Thank
Barbara
you.
and Tricia. Well done. We're
Well
very
done.
happy that you just won, and once again, we love that sound. All kudos to them. And yes, well, see you next week. Sorry, see you next month, right? That will be in January. We also have a surprise because we're going to introduce somebody also to you in January. So, yes, we are looking forward, and well, keep on designing, keep on, well, making great, great, great designs. Okay, to
And
everybody.
have a very prolific Christmas season, everybody.
Ooh,
Because hard but prolific. Because
well, it's a
we're
tough
on
month,
the
but when the month is
yeah,
finished, then January is like, ooh, it's coming down.
yeah.
We wish you a good business, lots of success with the sales, and then well, okay, good, good. So everybody, have a good one, and have a
Thank
happy day.
you.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.